Hey guys, it's me, Karen Ashley. You know me as Aisha, the Yellow Power Ranger, and you are watching Enemy Secrets. But hey, join me next year at Ranger Stop and Pop, June 13th through the 15th in Atlanta, Georgia. It is our final year, so come and have a fun time with us. It is like a family reunion of Power Ranger fans, Power Rangers, and we're just gonna have the best time ever. It's morphin' time.
Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh, yes. This is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out. Tune us in.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's morphin' time. Link to the morphin'. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Smokin' Silver.
I'm Patrick Gower, and I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant. Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
Welcome back, Toku fans. Welcome to the Toku Secrets podcast presented by animesecrets.org. And today we are continuing our series of reviewing Chouriki Sentai Ohranger by taking a look at episodes 21 through 25. This is our fifth episode of the Ohranger series. And the one good thing that we can say about this batch is that when we're done with this, we will officially be halfway done with this Sentai. So there's always a silver lining in every cloud. But we got mostly, there is one episode that kind of has something somewhat major happen in it. But for the most part, it's just a couple of filler episodes. But this will probably be the last real tame one we have with Ohranger, because for better or worse, almost every podcast after this is going to have a couple of major things happen in it. Not good stuff. Not all of it's going to be great, mind you, but there's still stuff going to be happening. So this might be the last little short one that we have. But with that being said, just to kind of recap what happened last time when we took a look at episodes 16 through 20, we had this two-part episode where the Ohrangers encountered this mad scientist called Kuroda. He was trying to he became obsessed with machines ruling the world after he revived his son as a cyborg. And he joined the Paranoia and got transformed into a monster, but then he was killed. But more importantly, the Ohrangers got a new mech. They uncovered this mech called Red Puncher. It's a boxer-themed robot. It was created as a prototype to Ohranger Robo. It got buried beneath the earth because it was too powerful, but then Goro tamed it, and it is now with the Ohrangers. And that brings us to our 21st episode, the Kendama That Calls the Storm, which is a Yuji-centric filler episode where Hysteria turns this Kendama-themed wooden robot made by some people in a small town into a machine beast. Yuji gets trapped inside. I wanted to make a note of this because this is probably, sadly enough, this is probably one thing that everyone will always remember about Ohranger, because I definitely remembered it when I first watched this. There's a scene where so Ohranger Robo and Red Puncher were damaged in the previous episode. There's this scene where they're trying to help the robots recover. I'm putting air quotes on recover because this doesn't make any sense, but they're trying to help them recover from the damage. And there's this scene where Juri and Momo are leading the two robots, the robots being piloted by the other Ohrangers, in a dance exercise routine. So for everybody who loves that gif of seeing the Ohranger Robo and Red Puncher just dance for no reason, that's in this episode. That's something that everybody remembers about Ohranger. I certainly did, and it's in this episode. So with that said, what do we think about episode 21?
That's all there is to say. That
really.
it was such a dumb start to the episode too, because logically it makes no sense. And then the rest of the episode is who cares? You watch the rest of the episode and you're still lingering on how dumb the robot dancing part was.
Are y'all familiar with the Obama gif of him just going, "What the heck"?
Yeah,
exactly.
That was me in the beginning.
Yeah, it's got his hands up in the air, like.
Yeah. He's sitting back in a big Easy Boy chair, and he's like, "What?" But I will say, despite my reaction, I will say it was at least entertaining and unique to do something like this. It may not make sense, but I was at least entertained, which is hard to do in this season for me.
Do you feel like this kind of like gave Yuji something? Because, like I said,
yes,
he's not really memorable. But him feeling envious not having his own robot, kind of, I guess, maybe I can kind of get what he's going by when it comes to this. But
I will be saying this
that way.
So I will say this once or twice throughout this particular podcast. This episode helped me learn Yuji's name.
Dang.
There's another episode where this happens where I've learned somebody else's name finally.
Yeah, that's another reason why I kind of remember this. Like, if you go back and look at all of those, videos that I make where I'm like ranking the Super Sentai Rangers with memes in my Blog Ranger video, Yuji was probably the only O Ranger where I didn't rank with I don't like this character thing. More, it was the one I used that clip that Riz can never tell what the British guy is saying, the whole all right thing. Like, it's an episode like this where I kind of remember, I kind of remember a little bit about Yuji. Okay, he's not to say that he's a great blue, but I can remember episodes like this where it's like, okay, I remember some stuff with him, so I guess he's all right.
I mean, okay, so I can't believe I'm going to defend Ohranger, but here we go. I actually thought this is a semi-okay episode for Yuji to get some kind of character development to the point where I'm like, okay, I kind of know his character. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to kind of prove himself, and he's a bit more impulsive. And, like, I learned something about him through this episode. And I also thought the entire Kendama theme, Wooden Robot, I don't think that was in Zio, was it? But
no, it wasn't.
I thought it was interesting that they had this storyline. And honestly,
they did adapt it into a monster in Zio, but they didn't have the whole story of, these people made their own robot and the Machine Empire turned it into a monster.
Yeah, I thought this is fairly more entertaining than the stuff we've seen in the past. Like, I think this is the more, like you said, it's memorable, but I wouldn't call it a bad memorable. I would just call this a, this is all right.
I mean, I also like to think that this whole thing of him wanting his own mech kind of foreshadows something that happens later.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
I would like to think that kind of led to O Blocker, but I don't know if this season has the foresight to have taken that into consideration when writing this episode.
Not really.
I like it though, because we don't really get that much build up to those things appearing later on. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
it's my headcanon now. This was foreshadowing that.
Yeah. But I will say we can hate on Ohranger all we want, but when they do something semi-okay, I'm gonna give them credit for that. And this episode is one where I'd probably end up giving this like a 6.5 or a 7.
That's fair.
I think a 6 is pretty understandable. I mean, I'll give the season brownie points when it tries to do something right.
Yeah, and this is an episode where I'm like, okay, if we had more like this, I would have liked it. And you know why I like this? we had a kid, and that's fine if you want to have a kid, but the focus wasn't on the kid; it was on a cast member.
Yeah,
and it was good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think a 7 is appropriate.
yeah, I think I'm gonna
Yes.
go with 7 to kind of bolster the score a little bit of this damn season.
Mm-hmm.
Not like we're gonna get many opportunities to do so.
I also feel
Yeah.
like if we got episodes like this with each of the O'Rangers, I think we probably would have actually been more lenient towards it.
Yeah, and I mean, we get one or two others in the batches that we're doing tonight. So for those listening back home, we are podcasting 21 to 25. What is it, 26 to 32 and 33 to
Yep.
38 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're in for a long night. Also, yesterday's Anthony's birthday. Today is Patrick's birthday. So I'm so sorry, but happy birthday to y'all. That you're having to do this on your dang
Yeah.
birthdays.
I
but-
mean, going back to what you were saying about us having episodes like this, I feel like around this point, and we'll see it especially when we get to the Bacchus Wrath closure stuff in a few podcast episodes from here. This is where the season attempts to try to regain its footing a little bit.
Yeah, and it starts to succeed. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so the first 20 episodes are absolute garbage. There's nothing to remember about them. I don't even know what I talked about, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, they happened, we talked about them, but I don't know what I said.
I mean,
don't
the first episode gave a good feel for it, and then and then everything else after that is just a huge nosedive. But
Yeah, and I mean, the first episode had potential to make a great season. The 7 that come after it, not so much.
yeah,
Which is why I will never understand the people who keep saying, yo, the first 10 episodes are so great, and then we got shafted by having bad stuff later. But to me, this is where we get some better stuff. Like, not
Yeah.
top tier, like amazing, but still.
No, like from here onward, I think Ohranger, like they've moved past the whole scrambling to come up with plots after the subway incident. And I think I want to assume that some original story elements from their original script start seeping back into the main storyline here. And saying,
Yeah.
so from here on out, at least Ohranger starts getting a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. And there's some other storylines I do like later, but we'll get to when we get to.
So
I mean, the only other thing is that that robot scene. I mean, it is pretty memorable. But at the same time, I do feel that it's kind of showcasing them just trying to be goofy for the sake of being goofy. Because, okay, if this was a mech like Daijujin or Gingayo, aka mechs that are made from mech ones that are sentient, then it would make sense. But those mechs aren't living things, so what are they doing dancing around? But
Well, they're not dancing, as in the robots are not the ones dancing. The pilots are making them dance. And I interpreted them dancing as them trying to calibrate and work the kinks out of the system after the damage it took.
yeah, I guess. I mean, again, that scene is so bizarre and funny to watch that I guess I don't really care. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Even if you
Um,
explain it, I still don't like it.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can not like it, but I think the explanation I gave is brownie points for, hey, they tried to do something unique and different, because no other season that I've seen has had them go off and try and calibrate the damn thing after they have to repair it.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time you don't even see them repair the mech. They just say, oh, we took damage, and next time, oh, hey, the damage is gone, we're good to go. So the fact that this had like a story and it carried over a couple of episodes where it's like, oh, hey, we got to do rehab on the robot because the thing got damaged last time.
Yeah, that's
I think
something I can appreciate from some Sentai where like they did it with this one. We saw them do it with in Ginga Man when Go Taurus got hurt and Hyuga had to stay on the sideline to help him recover for a little bit. They do it in a Mega Ranger. I don't want to go into too much. Patrick and Anthony know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
but we'll go into that when we get into Mega Ranger. I actually appreciate stories like that where it takes a while for like a mech to recover from damage in a particularly brutal fight.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to episode 22, the Classified Fusion Order, where this is the debut of a combination mech. It's a Goro-centric episode where he befriends a little boy. He's trying to get a memory chip that's key to unlocking a new mech combination between Ohranger Robo and Red Puncher. And we actually see what that combination is. Where they combine to form Buster Ohranger Robo. This was called the Zeo Mega Battle Zord in Power Rangers. Red Puncher attaches to the back of Ohranger Robo. Its arms fold over the shoulders like cannons, and its head flips over Ohranger's. Ohranger Robo's head like a helmet. Which, by the way, we could talk about the episode as well, but we can just briefly comment on like what we think about Buster Ohranger Robo real quick. Anybody want to give their thoughts? Yeah, I guess. Hey.
It looked okay, but like I said, we already seen it with Zeo, so it's not like anything different.
I mean, I like Patrick's because I didn't like this form. It's just kind of
It's kind of weird because it doesn't look like it can even move, because I don't think we ever see this thing move. I think we just see it stand in place and then it just shoots.
It's literally a ballista.
And yeah, it's like a turret. So
it's good for like the firepower, but otherwise not really that appealing.
Yeah.
Like it works, but I just don't care for it, honestly.
And it's just a meh type of mech, but we're gonna have a couple of more mechs to talk about, for better or worse, in these next couple of podcasts. So, well, but yeah, what do we think about episode 22 in general?
I think okay. You know what? I will say, I think I like the storyline of, hey, we lost this damn memory chip and we had to go off and find it. Like, it kind of builds some lore of, hey, we had this guy who was the pilot and he died, and this thing had gone missing for a while, and now we lost a memory chip. It shows some continuity and it shows some attempt at a good plot. So, I mean, I'll give it some brownie points for that. And actually, in terms of entertainment, it was just
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I actually kind of got a little annoyed with this episode. Like, okay, the plot you're talking about, Riz, is fine, but the ending is just where it really annoyed me. Where, okay, the computer chip explodes, but when it explodes, it gives off this energy wave that imprints all the data on Goro's back. Like, that is like one of the stupidest cases of Deus Ex Machina I've ever seen in Super Sentai, and that honestly was really annoying. Like, really? What did you guys think about that? Like, I'm surprised that that didn't really stand out to you guys, because that to me was really stupid.
What stood out to you, Nate?
That scene where the computer chip explodes and then this energy wave comes out and imprints all the data on Goro's back.
Oh! I have a rant for that actually. Now that I remember that.
That was pretty dumb. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty dumb.
Okay, so as the resident guy who does software for a living in some form or another nowadays, that was garbage, because he literally wrote like 2 bytes of data, and that's not enough to like program a whole ass mech to merge with another whole ass mech. So, Ohranger, what? Could you have at least made the text smaller? So it'd been like this really long string of stuff going across his back, like microscopic big, so that like small, so that way it would have been like everything. That would have been cooler than, oh hey, here's a 7, 5, 3, 2, 1 something, and I'm just gonna input these random numbers that are like not even that meaningful into a program and upload that to the damn mech. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? You know what, Nate? This episode loses points now. I remember this rant.
Yeah. I've seen Deus Ex Machina and Sentai before, but that that is a whole new level of stupidity when it comes to Deus Ex Machina.
I mean, that's
And
some Zoo Ranger crap.
yeah. So yeah, that alone, it really bothered me. Like I could not believe what I was watching. I forgot how stupid that was when I originally watched it, but yeah, that I'm sorry, that alone, and the reason why I would rank it this low is because it ends up having like these big plot implications. So it's a huge part of the episode, and it's so stupid. I'm giving this episode like a 3, honestly, because that was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we're all gonna give it a 3, honestly, because
yeah, pretty much.
I'm not gonna give it a 3. I'll
Okay,
probably
then.
give this like a 5.
Okay,
Again,
that's fair enough.
Again, it's not terrible. The logic at the end was stupid because I was originally going to give this thing like a 6. So I'm knocking off some points for it being stupid and making me have a brain aneurysm for computer science reasons.
Okay, let's move on to episode 23, the final swimsuit, a jury-centric filler episode where she has to find a way to outsmart this latest machine beast when he uses his clothing-based powers to brainwash the other O-Rangers. No major thing about this episode, so yeah, what do we think about this one?
Well, before we start, I have to say this. Close beam! Matter of fact, no, scratch that. Reverse close beams!
What was this episode? Like, it's like a fever dream. I just hate beach episodes, man, because they always feel unnecessary. This one more so.
This is probably like every Super Sentai episode. I mean, I don't think they've done it lately, but every episode has to have at least like one episode to just kind of give an excuse to throw in some fan service. Like you have that episode of Jetman where Kaori, Akko, and Aya are in the hot tub and Guy and Right to trick Ryu into trying to peep in on them. I remember that horrible episode of Jew Ranger that I do a bunch of rants on. Oh, you get to see May taking a bath. And in this episode, yeah, we get to see Momo and Juri in bikinis. We get to they literally tease us with like being able to peep at some stuff with Juri, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, and they can even shoehorn in some fan service for the ladies because look, guys, Goro is wearing a speedo. Isn't he hot? So this is probably the most blatant pure fan service, soft core type of grabberay or porn or whatever. This is probably the most blatant type of episode of that genre I've ever seen.
It's fan service.
Yeah.
Okay. At the risk of going against the crowd, though, I will say, you remember how I said in like episode 21, I learned his name after this episode?
Uh-huh.
I learned Zuri's name finally.
It always was her just taking her clothes off.
It wasn't the fact that happened.
I know I had to say that.
But I learned Yuji's name because he did something. I was like, oh, he has character traits that make him stand out. Okay, I can actually care about him now. With Juri, I was like, oh, hey, she's being, outnumbered by her team. She has no right to be able to even survive against her team. But oh, look, she got resourceful. She used her soldier skills to try and fight off the cogs. Yes, I'm calling them cogs because I don't give a crap what they're called in the Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
And it is fan servicey, but I was actually entertained by her tactics of how she survives and how she keeps going, especially at the end when I'm like, okay, you're not going to survive anymore. But then she reveals the bikini within the bikini trick. I'm like, oh, that's actually really smart. So Juri proved herself very resourceful and smart in this episode. While it's a garbage episode, I like I can't not give her points for that.
That's
okay, despite what I was saying about it being blatant fan service, like I didn't think that the episode was like straight garbage. Like honestly, it's just kind of I I don't think there's anything egregious in it, but at the same
No.
time, I just have to think. I mean, technically, this is probably another one of the most memorable episodes of Ohranger, but it's like, yeah, but if you have to resort to something as lowbrow as like just doing blatant fan service, that's
But
not a good thing.
it wasn't completely blatant fan service. It had a utility of a stupid utility, mind you. Like I didn't like the way that the metal things were what they were covered in after clothing was taken over, but it helped to develop a character who had no character before this episode, in my opinion, and it made it entertaining in that, hey, we're not just going to have her outsmart them in a boring way. No, let's have her go all full out Rambo here. So,
Yeah, I like that.
That's
Although
what I thought of when I watched the episode. Was like, oh, she's trying to be like Rambo.
right, she's trying to be Rambo. She has a kid she saves, but doesn't really do anything with him beyond like save him the one time and then lay him out. And again, she has to take on 4 of her peers and deal with a monster and come up with a plan to defeat the monster. She had no right to win this.
And she couldn't morph either. That's one thing.
And she couldn't morph. She didn't have her Zeonizers.
Yeah.
I don't care what they're called in Ohranger, but they're called Zeonizers.
We're probably fine when you call them Zeonizers. I forgot what they were called here.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I honestly, go ahead, Nate.
Now, the Rambo stuff, I'll admit, was pretty cool. Although Bokinger has a much more badass moment where a woman goes all Rambo. Anthony knows what I'm talking about, but
that's fine.
Yeah,
and I mean, they can have that, but I'm saying here, Juri deserves credit where credit is due, just like Yuji deserved credit when credit was due.
That's fair.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
And I will probably be going against the crowd here when I say this is probably an 8 in terms of, hey, I'm entertained.
Oh, wow.
Juri had some good moments. So 2 points off for fan service, in my opinion.
I think you're more of a... Yeah, I'll kind of go with you a little bit. I'm not going to give it a straight up 8 because I don't think it was really good, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, with the Sentai like this, you kind of got to take what you can get with these characters. So I'm probably thinking a 7.
That's fair.
I'll bump it to a 5. Whatever.
What was it before? 4?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next, Nate.
Yep. Episode 24 of A Laughing Nostalgia Man. Momo sent for a filler episode where Momo's visiting her old hometown and she gets attacked by a machine beast that's obsessed with older times. And yeah, that's literally everything about this episode. What do we think about it?
Bored.
I went to start reading something and you said, what do you guys think about it? I was like, well, he's freaking done already.
Yeah.
No, this episode was so boring.
Yeah.
The only thing I can remember is that at the beginning of the episode, when Momo's riding her bike, she's literally singing the Ohranger theme song. And I'm like, does the theme song of Sentai exist in universe?
They're self-aware. We need to destroy them now.
Right. But who's thinking? Like,
Exactly.
how would they even know where the song came from?
So they came up with it themselves.
This isn't the first time I've seen that though, because I remember in the Jetman tribute episode in Gokaiger, you can hear Guy kind of not Guy Yuki, Guy Gokai Silver. He's like humming the Jetman, but it's like really vague. So I guess these theme songs are a thing in the actual universe. But yeah, this is honestly, I've said this before when we reviewed episode 13 with that episode with her and a dog. It's just another episode where Momo is acting the way she always is. She's overly feminine. She's a little ditzy, but ultimately harmless. And nothing is done with it. I don't think it's a bad episode, but I think it's really boring. And I'm probably going to give it a 5 just because there's nothing egregious, but Yeah, that's as high as I would put it.
Copy and paste the words Nathan just said and paste them in my mouth, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Fair. I honestly don't even remember this one. So,
And Anthony?
I'm gonna give it a 5 too.
Okay, cool. All right, last episode for this batch. The festival one shot contest, episode 25. It's a filler episode. It doesn't really revolve around anyone in particular. Where the Rangers are battling against a machine beast with a love for festivals. There are a couple of notable things though. This episode marks the debut of the Nitta family. There are some recurring characters who are going to be occasionally appearing for the remainder of the series. One thing to note is that the father of this Nitta family, Ichiro, he is played by Satoru Saito. Satoru Saito, he voiced and played the human form of a monster in Die Ranger, General Cactus, but more importantly, in 2 years after this Sentai came out, he will play Professor Eikichi Kubota. He is the mentor character for Mega Ranger and a much better character than what he's playing here in Ohranger.
yeah, he is.
Yep. We also have another recurring character who's going to appear in 2 episodes in the next couple of batches. Kotaro Henna. He's this mad scientist who's obsessed with machines. And we also, and this is the first time, this is going to be the first in a string of times, but we get the debut of the Ole Bazooka. It's a team bazooka for the Rangers. This was called the Zeo Cannon in Power Rangers, by the way. It loads 5 hyper storage crystals for a powerful energy blast. No buildup or anything. They just have it. But yeah, that and they're gonna be using that from now on instead of the Big Bang Buster. But yeah, what do we think about episode 25?
We had this bazooka the whole time. Yeah, why didn't we use it before? We just found it. It was in the janitor's closet. We couldn't get in there. I don't remember this scientist dude. What was his name?
Henna, Henna.
I don't remember this character from my original watch through of the season at all.
Yeah, neither did I. Honestly, the only recurring supporting character I remember was this family that appears here, but even then, the only reason I remembered it was because the dad is Dr. Kubota from Mega Ranger.
Yeah, you say he was a recurring character, but I'm like, huh? Would this guy edit in after the fact? I don't remember him ever being in this show.
Yeah,
because he definitely doesn't play a major role. So,
yeah, but I mean, I remember him appearing in that episode in the next batch where they have to fight against that monster that's like putting everyone to sleep.
Yeah.
But he didn't really play a big part there. But yeah, I just thought I'd note that. I mean that's how bad Ohranger is. Like they have so many recurring characters and nobody can even remember who they are. So. Like Richie from Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Season 2 is more memorable than you. And nobody even knows who she is.
Dang.
Well, okay, some people do, but yeah. But yeah, I just found this episode to be really bizarre and horribly unfocused. Like, like you're battling against a monster that's eating everything, and then that somehow translates to like getting into some festival shenanigans. Like Miura being included in those festival shenanigans. Like, I honestly don't know how you got from point A to point B. And it was just weird to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, oh, and by the way, we just happen to have this big giant bazooka lying around in the janitor's closet, so we might as well just start using it from now on. Like, I did not like this episode at all.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything, Riz?
I mean, not really. Y'all did a good job.
I'm probably But honestly, just with how unfocused it is, like that's honestly egregious enough for me to probably give this episode a 3.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you giving this a 3, Nate?
No, just because I don't understand what they're trying to do here. Like you have a monster that eats everything, like the pudgy pig or whatever it was called in G Ranger, I can't remember. And doing that, and then that somehow translates to like them engaging in all of these festival shenanigans, and Miura's there and they're like banging on drums. Like, can't you just have the episode be like a knockoff of that G Ranger episode where the monster's just going around and eating everything? Like it I don't understand how you get from point A to point B.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably give this like a 4 or 5.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And also, this is something that's been bugging me for like half a season now, and I don't think I've ever really asked y'all about it. Mainly because I get too bored to care. But I would love to know why the O'Rangers continue to say, Ole, Ole. They ain't Mexican, so what's the deal here?
Guess it's just their calling card.
No, but why?
I don't know. Ask them.
Like, it actually... It's something that has been low-key bugging me throughout the season watch of like, why do they have to say Ole? It just sounds... Like, I feel like they're about to call a bull and have a bullfight.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to assume
O-Green's
that
mech
because
for
they're-
Ohranger Robo is a bull.
I'm going to assume that because they are the old Rangers, I guess Olay just kind of just like a shortened version of it. No, I can't explain it. I mean, it's not a good explanation.
I
But
mean,
that's
about as good as a guess
fine.
as anybody's gonna have.
It does, but at the same time, it's just so stupid. Like, could we get a better call sign for these guys? Like, I don't know, something more interesting.
Honestly, just change the spelling from to Ole, where it has OH-LA, and I'd be more accepting of it.
Right, same. Like, if you had pronounced it Ole.
Yeah, with emphasis on O. Yeah, because
right,
then it would fit
it'd
in
be
their name aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is just like a cheap knockoff of like the Mexican Ole, Ole. You know, like I just don't get it. And maybe I'm just being too critical of it. I don't know.
Nah, I think it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I never paid no mind. So.
I thought it was cool, but when you mention it, it is a little bit odd.
It's just weird. Like, if they had explained it and said, like, okay, hey, the Chouriki powers were found in Mexico, I'd understand better.
Or some kind of ancient Aztec, Mexican type of civilization.
Yeah, or something. Like, maybe the commander's a Mexican guy. You know, some kind of connection is needed.
Something.
Like, the Sentai characters don't all have to be Japanese every season.
Yeah, I mean they make Star Ninja an American technically.
Technically, yeah. Really bad American.
Yeah, of course, a bad American.
He's a terrible Texan. As a fellow Texan, I don't approve of him.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Although, yeah,
he's not racist enough.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah.
the Black Ranger in the previous Sentai was all actually not even technically American. Like his actor is actually American technically. Ken Kozuki, who plays Jiraiya.
Yeah, he's American.
So, yeah.
Another character that I'm going to dislike when we get to that season, by the way.
I still don't get why you don't like that character. Like it's
when we get to the podcast, you'll understand.
It's still bugging me. They don't like him, but okay.
But anyway, but we're done with episode 25, which means that, well, actually, technically, we are over halfway done with Ohranger because it is 48 episodes long.
Confetti.
Woo.
So yeah, we technically now, and this is probably going to be really quick because believe it or not, even though we're over halfway down, we still don't really have much to say about any of these characters. But we don't have to talk about the villains because we still haven't gotten to a point where they've gotten that interesting. But they will
Yeah.
be interesting pretty much just as soon as we get started with the next batch. But
Yeah.
we have to do the mid-season tier rankings. I guess technically we could say some stuff about Juri and Yuji, but yeah, I mean, how would we want to tier these guys up now?
I'll keep it brief. I got a 5-letter sentence, 5-word sentence, 1 word for each character. I don't give a crap.
Yeah, that's
So what's
fair.
that tier going to be?
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, so we're going to default them all to D tier.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I can't reasonably move them any higher than that.
Okay, that's fair.
They need to have a character to be ranked high on a character list.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think I would probably have them all in D tier as well. And I feel bad putting Momo down that low because Momo is, and to be fair, it's her actress, and I think her actress is actually trying to do her best, but she can only do so much with what's being written. Momo, I honestly think is actually really adorable, and I feel bad putting her in D tier, but she's not as adorable as someone like Saki or Kotoha. There's my obligatory simping for Kotoha right there. So ultimately, even though it hurts, I would put her in D tier as well. I mean, Juri, that beach episode, the more you talk about it, Riz, kind of makes me want to partially lift her up to C tier, but it's one episode versus the rest of the series, so I can't honestly justify that.
I'm giving her a C minus.
Oh, okay. I think you could justify that.
I think she's a C minus because she's like a high D, low C for me right now.
Yeah.
Yuji is a high D, low C, but I think more D than C. So I'll keep him into D, but I think Juri just stood out for me in a great way because he demonstrated the core of what the O'Rangers should have been, and that's a paramilitary group that's out there, skilled and capable of taking care of themselves no matter what. And they should be trained to handle any kind of craziness. And here she is, basically almost stripped naked and having to fight off her own teammates and the monster of the week. And she goes rainbow on everyone. That's a big deal. She doesn't do a whole lot later on, spoilers, but for right now,
Goro would stay in D tier. I'm half tempted to put Shohei in F tier just because I think that he's kind of becoming a John, maybe not on quite the level of the idiot we all know and love, but he's kind of bordering on being kind of a dumbass these last couple of episodes. So
no. He's not anywhere near that guy. Let's be real.
Yeah, but that's why
no. He's a D tier.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah,
I am the keeper of who is on the level of the idiot, and he's not on the level of the idiot.
Okay. But even in that beach episode, like he was trying to hit on a bunch of women, and he tried to hit on Juri and Momo without realizing that they were Juri and Momo. Like, you didn't realize that's them. Are you that stupid?
Yes, he is an idiot, but he's not the idiot.
Okay, fair enough. But
and I mean, I would give him F plus tiering, but he's not an F minus like the idiot.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess the only change then technically is that Juri is kind of going up to the C tier, but which I guess by default makes her the best Ohranger, and she would stay as the best Ohranger because the one that's coming in its next episodes is not going to be any better than any of these characters. But but Yeah, aside from that, everybody goes into D tier.
Mm-hmm.
And Riz was largely just kind of agreeing with me on that. Anthony, do you want to add anything on your tiering, or do you agree that they all just belong in D tier?
I care less about any of them, but I guess you put D tier. I guess whatever. Here.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
it is in Patrick's 5-word sentence. I don't give a crap.
Yep.
Yeah, fair
Yeah, I
enough.
really don't care.
1 word per character.
Yep.
But okay, everybody back home. We are now officially a little over halfway done with Ohranger, and when we jump into the next batch, things are not necessarily going to get better, but they're going to get a little bit more interesting. We're going to get our 6th Ranger character, and we're going to go through a bit of a story arc with the villains. So yeah, things are going to get a little bit more interesting from this point forward. But most importantly, we're over halfway done, and I'm sure we're all very excited that we're very soon going to be able to put this whole Sentai behind us. But yeah, we will catch you guys next time when we take a look at episodes 26 through 32 to see the debut of King Ranger. And we hope you guys will join us for that, as well as join us for our Go Juger podcast when we return to that, as well as other future podcasts we have planned for you. We'll see you guys next time. But until then, bye for now. If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other Tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of Tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.